President Donald Trump absolutely swears that the war between Hamas and Israel is over. According to Ryan Grimm, aboard Air Force One, Trump was asked about Netanyahu's refusal to say that the war is over, which is, by the way, a huge red flag. Trump responded with, "The war is over, the war is over, the war is over, okay? Do you understand that?" But while everyone seems to be celebrating the end of the war, in my opinion, prematurely today, the ceasefire in Gaza remains in a fragile state with tripwires and questionable statements coming from members of Israel's government. Why don't we start with Benjamin Netanyahu, who said that the military campaign isn't over yet. And for those listening to the audio version, when we come back from the video, I'll read you his quote.
ואני רוצה להגיד לכם, בכל מקום שנלחמנו, ניצחנו. אבל באותה מידה, אני חייב להגיד לכם, המערכה לא תמה. יש עדיין אתגרים ביטחוניים גדולים מאוד לפנינו. חלק מאויבינו מנסים להשתקם כדי לתקוף אותנו שוב. וכמו שאומרים אצלנו, אנחנו על זה. יש גם הזדמנויות גדולות שלא ידענו כמותן, דווקא בגלל הניצחונות שהבאנו. אני משוכנע שבכוחות משותפים אנחנו נתגבר על האתגרים ונממש את ההזדמנויות.
So again, for those listening to the audio version of the show, he says that the campaign is not over. There are still very big security challenges ahead of us. Some of our enemies are trying to recover in order to attack us again. And as they say here, we are on it. So let me just note that he's not being specific about which enemies he's referring to. So is it war with Lebanon? Is it continuing the military operations in the Gaza Strip? Is it potential war with Iran, which, by the way, has been ramping up in regard to some of the rhetoric we've been hearing in the Israeli government and even among some US officials? We don't know for sure, but the other statements coming from members of the Knesset certainly caused some concern. So in addition to that, according to the Times of Israel to shift focus to razing Gaza tunnels, Katz says. And the person they're referring to, of course, is Israel Katz, is the Israeli defense minister. Here's what he had to say. The major challenge for Israel after the phase of returning the hostages will be the destruction of all of Hamas's terror tunnels in Gaza directly by the IDF and through the international mechanism to be established under US leadership and supervision. They were in Gaza for 2 years straight. They've razed Gaza, they've leveled the Gaza Strip. Over 93% of the residential structures have been completely destroyed in the Gaza Strip. We're talking about literally millions of people who are left homeless with absolutely no infrastructure whatsoever. No water, no roads, nothing. No schools, hospitals have been destroyed. You wanna go back in to deal with the tunnels. You couldn't deal with the tunnels first? That couldn't be it's BS. They're gonna go back in, they're looking for the excuse, that's what this is. He also says, this is the primary meaning of implementing the agreed principle of demilitarizing Gaza, not Hamas, demilitarizing Gaza and disarming Hamas, Katz says, adding that he instructed the IDF to prepare to carry out the mission. So demilitarizing any country means that it's not a country. They have no means to defend themselves. And considering the fact that the Palestinian people would be living next door to Israel, a country that wants to steal their land and has treated them like absolute animals, I would venture to say that they would want some sort of military, some sort of means to defend themselves. But of course, Israel doesn't want that. And the real question is, why? Why don't they want that?
Yeah. So they claim, of course, oh, we're not safe, we're not safe. We're not safe until everyone around us is dead or totally subjugated. No weapons, no food, no aid, just groveling on the ground to us. And then we'll feel deeply superior to them and we'll feel great about it. If you say, oh, Jen, come on, that seems like, are we still talking about exaggeration? Are we, after they murdered over 67,000 people, over 20,000 kids? So on their way out, they lit a bunch of fires, talked about the sewage plant earlier in the show. They also did a whole bunch of homes. They burned the food on their way out, the IDF did. And then they would make videos, IDF soldiers laughing, or we burned it to the ground. I mean, they look exactly like the Nazis. Ha 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 ha, we killed you. And then we burned it down and we turned it into a cesspool. Ha 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 ha. I always wondered, how the hell did the Germans turn into Nazis? Well, apparently this is how. Because they're taught in their heads, and there's massive propaganda inside Israel. The Palestinians are the dirtiest terrorists. They're savage. Muslims are the worst. You should hate all the Muslims. They're coming to kill you. They're gonna kill all of you. You have to kill them first. Kill them first. They teach their children. Everything that they accuse the Palestinians of is projection. It's a confession by the Israelis. They teach their children to despise the Palestinians, Arabs and Muslims. They teach them that they're all terrorists. They teach them that they're subhuman and that the Israelis are, we're all gonna die. You're the one that doesn't let them exist. Stop with the lie about, Israel might not exist. They have nuclear weapons, Iron Dome, etc. They exist, they will exist to eternity. Palestine doesn't exist. You goddamn liars. Palestine doesn't exist. That is the problem. But you see Netanyahu, never listen to Netanyahu when he's speaking English. Only listen to him when he's speaking in Hebrew.
Yep.
So when he's doing English, that's propaganda. That's not for his home audience. That's for the idiots in American media. Hey, dogs, come here, doggy, come here, doggy. Israel is moral and wonderful, and the Palestinians are dirty savages. They're dirty savages. Netanyahu said it, we have to write it down. And then he goes in Hebrew and he goes, the campaign's not over, I'm not doing this peace deal, you crazy? No, he said it was a great opportunity to do more. You saw it in Hebrew, great opportunity, guys. The campaign's not over. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna pretend the Palestinians made them stay and made them kill them more. The tunnels. Anna's right. Okay, you wanna get rid of the tunnels? I get it. You had 2 years. Why didn't you get rid of the tunnels?
Too busy leveling the whole Gaza Strip.
Why did you destroy the hospitals, the schools that had no one in them, universities, the entire universities leveled? Why did you bother destroying empty university buildings, but didn't destroy the tunnels? It's almost like you want them as an excuse while you're in the middle of committing a genocide so you could steal that land, exactly as we said. The tunnels are the only thing you didn't destroy? Oh, come on. Who would be stupid enough to believe that? Right, literally every single person in mainstream media. They had to go back in for the tunnels. Okay, and of course they're gonna say, here, I'll tell you ahead of time, so that way you know it's Israeli propaganda, because it's predictable. They will say, Hamas did not surrender enough. They did not disarm enough. There's still tunnels. We had no choice. We didn't break the ceasefire. They broke the ceasefire by not submitting to us and groveling to us enough. And since we did not get the abject humiliation and the entire genocide that we ordered, we're gonna have to keep going. Hey, dogs in American media, say Hamas did it. Say the Palestinians are guilty and we had to murder them. And they will all go, they had to murder them. Of course, everyone's an anti-Semite who disagrees. And of course, we all bow our heads to Israel, but they don't control anything, anti-Semite.
And I appreciate the honesty of Bezalel Smotrich, as always. He just says what he actually thinks and what they plan to do out loud with really no shame. So he says that he clearly doesn't want to stop terrorizing the Palestinians. He says, quote, a tremendous responsibility to ensure that this is not, God forbid, a deal of hostages in exchange for stopping the war, as Hamas thinks and boasts.
See?
Immediately after the hostages return home, he's saying it out loud, everyone. This isn't me, this is Bezalel Smotrich, Israeli finance minister. Immediately after the hostages return home, the state of Israel will continue to strive with all its might for the true eradication of Hamas and the genuine disarmament of Gaza so that it no longer poses a threat to Israel. They're gonna go right back in.
Yeah,
they're telling you. So believe them.
They already have 53% of Gaza. They're not gonna leave. They're supposed to withdraw to a security perimeter. They're not withdrawing to a security perimeter. They're gonna go further into Gaza, because this is about greater Israel. Look, Smotrich has said it 1,000 times. Ben Gvir has said it. Netanyahu has said it. Netanyahu has said that Israel's gonna take the land from the river to the sea. The thing that American media told us was like the most horrible thing that anyone could ever say. And in the case of the Palestinians, they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. They're like, how dare you anti-Semites wanting freedom? Don't you know you're dogs of ours? You're not allowed to have freedom. That is a genocidal comment. Netanyahu says that American media goes, no, shh. Everybody cover it up. Netanyahu says the campaign's not over. How much, are they reporting it on cable news? None, zero, right? And then now on this, so.
One more thing, Cenk, real quick.
Okay.
So Ynet News, which is an Israeli publication, reported the following. I'm gonna read from them verbatim. The IDF has begun constructing new defensive positions closer to the border, pulling back from areas deeper in Gaza as part of the ceasefire and initial hostage release agreement. These positions are expected to become semi-permanent outposts, similar to previous forward bases built along the buffer zone near the border fence. If you want to know what Israel really intends on doing, do not consume American media on this topic. Head on over to Israeli press because they'll tell you the truth. They say it out loud.
Yeah, no, I'll give credit. We give credit where credit is due. The Israeli press has been terrific in a lot of instances, 1,000 times better than American press, because Israeli press doesn't have to worry about being called anti-Semites, so they can just report things, right? So a lot of them are right-wing propagandists for Netanyahu, et cetera, but there's a lot of really good journalists in Israel. And by the way, we have to get all of our news from the Israeli press, like Smotrich talking about how, yeah, we're not leaving. No, we're gonna continue the genocide, right? Now, did you see that on cable news? Of course you won't see it on American mainstream media, because American mainstream media is completely controlled by the Israeli government. And so if they're not, why don't you report the obvious things we're reporting? We're not making it, you could double check our quotes, quadruple check the quotes. Make sure you're getting the quotes exactly right, okay? But you won't. No one on television will talk about any of the things that we mentioned here because they work for the Israeli government. And why do they mainly work for the Israeli government? Because everybody knows that if you're in mainstream media and you say anything critical of Israel, even if it's 200% verified, you'll be called an anti-Semite, your life will be ruined, your career will end, and they'll smear you to no end. They all know it. They're all scared to death of criticizing Israel. And so they're not remotely journalists. And so they do work as a marketing department, whereas the Israeli press actually gets us news from time to time. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.